Alright, I still don't really know what I'm doing. Being a fan of the Fast and Furious movies, I had to watch the new Spy Races Netflix show when it came out. After being extremely disappointed by the first episode, I didn't bother watching anymore. However, the video I made on it proved to be quite controversial. So I binge watched all 10 hours and all 3 seasons. Enjoy.
It's a good thing you're big. But hold that butter. Shoshi never makes anything that easy. Keep your eyes peeled.
What is that terrible accent? It sounds like a mix between Irish, Scottish and Australian. This show has no laws of physics. Why do their fingers never touch the keyboards?
There are all kinds of paths to get lost in down here.
Is this the end of Pizza Rave?
What is with that random out of place shot? Why would she take her parachute off here? She could use it to get off the train. Look at this boring blank room with just one pattern for the walls and the floor. Wait, it's that character model from the first episode. People joke about the Fast and Furious franchise going to space. This show did it in the 3rd installment. Wait, how old are they meant to be?
Hey, I'm 13.
What, Frosty's 13?
Or is the whole system run by billionaires like Delwyn Oosk?
You have 10 seconds before we open fire.
Bro, as if he's threatening to open fire.
Just another one of those flat earthers with a homemade rocket.
Why did they make a flat earth reference?
My cookies.
How immature does this dude have to be to scare them into crashing a plane over some damn cookies?
For the bananas.
What is that currency?
So why don't you just stay here and watch Gary watch the cameras?
I love Gary.
They think I'm still mind-controlled. I can finish my mission. Nobody controls me.
Nobody controls me, she says after being mind-controlled.
He's your old boss. Hashtag shocker. Miss Nowhere?
Come on, that was not a surprise reveal. You could tell it was her the whole time. But they just stole this from Harry Potter. They didn't even try. Look at how the plane is just sitting still on the water, not moving or anything. Oh, tell me they are not doing TikTok dances.
You didn't get into stupid spy school. Get over it.
Spy school. Are you serious?
We must have gotten off track. What are we gonna do?
If we want to get to Cleve, we have to turn around and go through them.
How have they been talking to each other in separate cars this entire time? Yo, it's the Grubhub guy.
Looks like you're tripping.
Looks like you're oh no, she did not just say that.
And for everyone who's sick and tired of being pushed around by the Illuminati and their stupid weather machines!
Wait, what?
Oh, man, I got knocked out again, didn't I? So, what'd I miss?
Wait, what does he mean, what did he miss? He was there the whole time. Oh, it's that character model again! Now that I've had a bit of fun, I wanted to do an actual review to explain why I dislike this show, because it seems like I'm the only one that didn't enjoy it. Season 1 starts off strong by promoting street racing and criminal activity to little kids, which is probably this show's target audience. Don't believe me? The dialogue of this show consists of lines such as,
Sup, kids? The king of the road is here.
More like King Butt.
and there was literally a series of Happy Meal toys to help promote the show. I also noticed that this show uses the same kind of formula as those cringy YouTube channels that pretend to be ninjas or whatever, which Danny Gonzalez made a great video about that you should check out. These sorts of videos reference things such as being spies and using spy gear, the dark web, and finding keys or codes to track down a villain. Starting to sound familiar now? It also feels very lazily written, featuring a lot of overused cliches and jokes. Has anybody actually laughed at the jokes in this show? Again, if you don't agree that it's lazily written, in the little first episode of the show, we see Tony Toretto enter a race pretending to be someone else, whilst wearing his name on his shirt. How hard would it have been to fix this? Tony also goes on to win this race against the so-called best racers of the city, despite us the viewers never see him as a decent driver. He's participated in one race at this point in the show, and that race showed him to be overconfident and poor in decision making. How is he now able to win a race in a car that he's never used before with gadgets that he doesn't even know how to use? It also doesn't allow him to grow as a character, as he literally wins every race he enters. I would say spoiler alert, but why bother? This show is incredibly predictable, so there are never moments of suspense because you can always tell exactly what's going to happen before it does. There were even moments where I found myself able to finish a character's line before they'd even finished saying it, which doesn't make for an entertaining show. The show also takes forever to get to the point. Each episode is essentially, they find out what they want, then they go out to where it is to get it, and then they have it, and then they lose it. And then they have it, and then they lose it. And then the episode ends with them finally getting it. These honestly might have been alright if they were made into movies instead of a TV show. Then they could have cut out all of the boring parts they used to pad out each episode to 24 minutes long, and might have actually been able to hold my attention for more than 10 seconds at a time. A movie also would have allowed the directors to focus their budget on more important things, such as better music. Like, what kind of lyrics are these? Another thing that I think would have been nice would be to learn about the history of some of these characters. Like, how did Frosty get so smart? How did Nowhere earn her name and her authority? Why does Gary let Nowhere push him around the way he does? Where did this guy get his money and power from? And where did any of them learn how to drive like this? Doing this would have allowed us to understand the characters and their intentions better. Like, they introduced this villain in the last episode of the season, and his intentions are vague and meaningless. Why should I care about him or whatever he wants to do? Speaking of the last episode, the objective of this episode is to not let a device called Skeleton Key get into the wrong hands. Skeleton Key is a device that
was technology decades ahead of its time, able to control anything computerized.
Seriously? This is the sort of thing my mates and I would have come up with when we were 6 years old and wanted to be spies when we grew up. They somehow made the show more unrealistic than the movies, and the movies jumped cars out of a plane. And the show copied that scene almost shot for shot. Season 2 is still pretty generic and boring, but I will admit that it is better than Season 1. There are some good moments, such as when Echo is being chased through the jungle by Nowhere, but then these good things go to waste when they introduce one of the most irritating villains I've ever seen, Rafaela. They try to make her glamorous or whatever the hell they were going for, but she's just really annoying and only uses internet lingo from like 7 years ago.
Soup's annoying, right?
But you uggos ruined everything.
She faked her own death and then went into hiding, now using mind control to try and get everyone to praise her or something. Wouldn't surviving a near fatal crash and being a renowned racer be enough for local recognition that she wanted? In the movies, Letty survives a near-fatal crash and is an incredible racer, and everyone seems to know who she is. So why bring in this whole mind control bit, and why make her so annoying? Then they finally put the nail in the coffin for Season 2 with this really cringe dance finale. Oh, this is so hard to watch. Season 3 opens up by reminding me of why I hate this show's awful attempts at being appealing to kids, by literally having the characters do TikTok dances. Just when I thought this show couldn't get any worse. Then Tony becomes an emo because he didn't get into spy school or whatever.
Is that black nail polish? When did that happen?
Can I just be on my own with my dark thoughts right now, please?
And I don't even know if spy school is really a thing. To me it just looks like a boot camp run by Nowhere. But anyway, they go through the desert, do like one race to remind us that this show is meant to be linked to the Fast and Furious franchise, and then it has nothing to do with spying or racing. Google defines spying as a person employed to secretly obtain information on an enemy or competitor. So come to think of it, have they ever really been spies? Seriously, they've never been secret about anything. Literally everyone knows who they are wherever they go, and then they steal something from a bad guy so they can't control everything or something. We also haven't seen Vin Diesel since Season 1, so it has nothing to do with Fast and Furious anymore. So the real name of this show should just be Action Racers. But who would watch that? The only reason this show took off at all is because it was linked to Fast and Furious. I know for a fact that no one would have thought of watching this if they hadn't have linked it to that. This really doesn't have anything to do with Fast and Furious. The only ways they tried to tie it in with the franchise was to make the main character a Toretto and then mention the word family every 2 minutes. But I just don't think it's a franchise that should be marketed to little kids. For example, there are many instances where people die in the movies, but in the show, what would be horrific and fatal car accidents are just glossed over without any sign of damage or injury. It feels like they had two target audiences in mind for this show and just ended up trying to suit it to both. But I guess at the end of the day, what can you expect from a kid show executive produced by Mr. Beautiful World?
When did this turn into Beautiful World? When did this turn into I Love You?
At least they wear seatbelts.